Welcome to Game of Roses. This is PaceCase.
This is BachelorClues. And it's Monday, which means tonight we have no Bachelor.
Boo.
Because the season is over. We have
no Bachelorette.
Nothing in the Bachelor franchise to be looking forward to until BIP 10.
We have nothing.
I can't believe it. We have nothing without you.
Ooh,
thank you.
Was that Grant Ellis? What was that?
Yeah. So many songs came out this week. We don't have this. This is digging deeper, by the way. And we have 12 fantastic clips for you. What we don't have is Grant Ellis's new song, High School Crush. And what we don't have is Tyler Cameron's new song, Florida Boy Blues, I think it's called.
Wait, what? Tyler made music?
He made a song with this country band. So he speaks on the front part of it and he's like, oh, down in Florida, I like to eat steaks, don't like to wear shirts. And then the song starts.
Wowie. Yeah. I mean,
and
did you see their parasocial rivalry has escalated / began? Tyler Cameron and Grant Ellis.
No. Oh, I saw him kind of talking shit to Grant Ellis about his treatment of Latia.
He was talking shit, and then Grant unfollowed him, and Tyler's like, oh, I can't believe you unfollowed me or whatever. And Grant then came back and said, actually, it was because of what you said about Kendrick Lamar.
Oh,
that I
that's right.
Because of Kendrick.
It was him and Gore Girl Jason Tardik said Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime performance was the worst thing they'd ever seen or something like this. And you're like, why do you think that, though?
Interesting.
Yeah, what might it be that leads you to that conclusion? But we're not here to talk about that. That's old news. What we are here to talk about are these 12...
That'll be in Twibbin next week.
Yeah. Twibbin will be back next week, by the way. We are here to discuss clips from Rob Has a Podcast. It's going to be our very first clip is Danielle Reyes from Traitors Season 3 talking about, are the Bachelor people game players or not? And she validates everything we've ever said on this podcast. Yes. So get ready for that.
Thank you, Danielle.
We also have clips from Viall Files with who was on this? It was Grant and Juliana talking about kind of their post-show experiences. We have clips from Almost Famous with Ben Higgins, who discusses whether or not he was asked to show up at that multiple Love Level 4 hot seat that featured Charity Lawson, Clayton Echard, and Golden God Gary Turner, and why he wasn't there. Was he asked?
We were speculating on this.
Did he reject? We will find that out. We also have Gabby Windey, the lovable dingbat on Las Culturistas, talking about Traitors, Bachelor, all kinds of stuff. And we also have Trading Secrets with Kelly Flanagan. Now, I don't know if you guys saw any of this. She has some very interesting things to say about the difference between genders in the Bachelor franchise and how dating after your experience on the franchise is potentially easier or harder based on if you are a man or a woman. We also have some more clips from those Viall Files with his special guest, Thomas Sandoval.
Great.
Did you watch that or listen to that?
No.
Oh, shit. I watched almost the whole thing. It's very good. All right.
Interesting.
Let's kick it off.
I can't wait.
This is our first clip. This is from Rob Has a Podcast. For those who don't know, that's the biggest Survivor podcast, I think, on the planet. Rob Has a Podcast now is a full network of reality TV coverage. In this episode, Danielle Reyes is the guest. She, of course, was a standout traitor on this past season 3 of Traitors. And she got, in my opinion, eliminated too early. I would have loved to have seen what she could have done in the finals. Nonetheless.
Too early. I think she made it much farther than most people were thinking. I told you I thought she was going to be a great traitor and she outlasted them all. And you said, no, she won't, from the fake tears. And what a performance. I'll never forget her collapsing on the floor in that weird hat.
Thank you, Jesus. I will never forget it either. It was one of the most theatrical play styles we've ever seen from anybody in that show so far. In this clip, she is talking specifically about Bachelor players and how they're perceived in the Traitors. Here we go.
For future players of Traitors, I want to say, you guys saw Gamer, there's Challenge, gamers. People from The Bachelor, they're gamers. And let me just tell you why. That is a game show. People are gaming for love. People are lying, saying they love each other. So the Gabbys, the Pilot Petes of the world are gamers. So if anyone from The Bachelor or Bachelorette, you need to understand they are gamers. Do not get it twisted. Those people are competing for a rose for multiple. I mean, think about it. You're a bachelor. You got 20 women lying and trying to get your love. That is a fucking game in itself.
And if you
right?
are the bachelor, you got to tell a lot of lies.
You got to tell a lot of lies, right? And then
she meant nothing.
Not,
no, you're the one.
Right. And you're competing with other people to try to get they're gamers. So that's why they're underestimated, because people think, oh, it's just for love. No, they're gamers. Do not get it twisted. And it is one of those moments when I watched Gabby, I was like, oh, that girl was playing that game. Give it to that queen of faithfuls. Amazing to watch. And Pilot Pete too. So that's when I had that aha moment. I went, them Bachelor people, they ain't no joke.
Wow. I feel so vindicated.
As do I. I mean, it's hard to, we've been saying this on this podcast for 6 years, that Bachelor is a sport, that it is a game. And here it's validated from somebody who played against these players in what I believe is the greatest psychosocial dynamic game that is currently in reality TV, certainly in third wave. And to hear her saying this, also saying Pilot Pete, like looking back through history, notice she didn't mention Ari, who was in season one.
Come on, Danielle. Yeah. Ari did well too.
And she didn't mention Wells Adams, who was in her season.
Well, I don't think she knows who that is.
But she is right. We say this all the time. There are certain skills that you have to be a high level player in The Bachelor. One of them is the ability to discern deceit. Is someone lying to you or not? And that is what the entire game of traitors is. You have to pick out who is lying to you. And if you're a lead in the Bachelor franchise, you've got 25 to 30 people all lying to you in one way or another. And you yourself must lie to almost all of them, saying, I am interested in where this is going. I want to keep this alive. Please show up on the next group date, et cetera, et cetera.
That bartender's not my brother.
Yeah. But even though the Bachelors, the leads always know, or you very usually know on night one who their top 2 or 3 already are. So the rest of it is just arranging the deck chairs on a Titanic. And that's lying. It's all deceit. It's acting. And so I just thought that it was very astute here to hear Danielle Reyes, a superstar traders player, basically giving props finally to our beloved game.
I love it so much. I also like the term that we're using of like the gamers, which is you're coming from a game show, you're coming from Big Brother, you're coming from Survivor, but it also is just kind of a euphemism for liars. It's basically saying, how good are you at lying? But it's like kind of a softer way of saying it. Like, oh yeah, you're a gamer.
But she really is getting at the thing that is the big lie of The Bachelor is that it's not a lie. Yeah. That it is only about love, that there is no game component. Whereas in these other games, like Danielle comes from Big Brother, obviously Traitors is an open game, Survivor open game, the Challenge open game. In those games, you are rewarded for being deceitful in most cases. People like game will recognize game. Even when you see somebody get fucked over by your deceit, usually in those games, they will acknowledge like, but it was a good play. Like I was on the bad end of it, but it was a good play. You don't ever see that in Bachelor. It's only ever the kind of like emotional repercussions of being lied to or about or whatever. But this was a great clip, I thought. Thank you,
You'll
Danielle
sometimes
Reyes.
see the emotions overwhelm the respect for gamers on Survivor or whatever, but a lot of the time, especially because everyone on that show is a super fan, they're like... They're like, gotta give it up.
Yeah. The bottom line in open games is it's about the win. If what you do, no matter how Machiavellian or dishonest or whatever, if what you do gets you to the end to win the game, or even keeps you in the game for another round, it's kind of like you can't argue against that. Other players can't, even if they are on the receiving end of some kind of bad beat. But in Bachelor, it's not that way. In Bachelor, if you're deceitful, it's for the wrong reasons. In any love game, really. And I think that's what makes those games harder and why it prepares players better for Traitors, because Traitors has a similar kind of like double-tiered lie where you have to yes, I'm here to play a game, but you can trust me. So the idea of, yes, it's a game, or yes, I'm trying to make it far in this thing, but really, I just want you to trust me, and these friendships are real and all of that.
Yeah.
There's an element of that in Traitors that comes straight from Bachelor, I think.
Look, I know it's a game, but I swear on my grandchildren, I'm not a traitor.
Exactly.
It blurs the lines between that so much. It's so fascinating. And yeah, did you see they announced a Traitors Celebrity UK?
No, I didn't see that.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So they're making it like separate. It's like, I guess, a second show, Traitors UK and Traitors
I'll check
Celebrity
that out
UK.
for sure.
Very curious about that one.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it'll only be UK celebrities. Will it only be members of the House of Parliament? Whatever.
Yeah, it's just UK politicians. That would be a fascinating show.
I mean, wouldn't you like to see like an all Congress people traitors?
Jesus, who would that be? You've got like Nancy
Cory Booker
Pelosi versus AOC versus
that would
Chuck
be
Schumer.
interesting. There's so
up?
many different iterations you can do.
I agree.
And I love watching it, even though I would hate to play it.
I think I could play Traitors.
Of
Other
course
than
you
the
could.
bugs and shit. Some of the challenges I wouldn't want to do. Jumping in water is like, I would just sit out. But I could use that maybe to my advantage. That'd be my play
Yeah,
style.
you'd be
Fuck
Dorinda.
this, I'm not doing it.
You'd be like, I'm out first.
Yeah, I'd be sitting over there petting Dark Lord Cummings' dog with him.
I mean, that's a great strategy. You suck up to the dog.
The dark
You're just
dog.
like, that's gonna be my thing.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to our next clip. This one comes to us from those luscious Viall files. In this first clip, the dark one.
Dark one.
I can't even describe this without laughing. Let's just listen to this clip where
Oh
I'll
my
say
God,
this.
I'm so excited.
He's talking about Latia, and he explains that he knows what it's like to be in her shoes.
As someone, I mean, no one knows what it's like to be in Latia's shoes more than me. I was in it literally twice. So like I empathize where she's at. I know what it's like. At the same time, again, trust me, like being in her position, I remember being like, but you said this and what the fuck was that? And I can't believe this happened. And you really feel like you are justified to be not only angry, but like have basically Bachelor Nation have your back because you really feel kind of screwed over. At the same time, this is the show, and I remember once I became the Bachelor, having a lot more empathy for the ladies whose season I was on, and realizing the position they were in. And, when it's just your journey, and everyone has their journey on this show, Latia, Juliana, you had a journey, obviously, your feelings feel that much more validated and important than anyone else's.
I'm like, wait, Juliana's in this interview?
Yeah, exactly. It was Juliana
Seems
and Grant
like
were the
mostly it's
guests.
just Nick.
This was a triple when I was the Bachelor. Nobody knows more than me about Latia's because I was in her shoes twice. That's a double when I was the Bachelor. And then later in this very clip, he's like, and then when I became the Bachelor. That's a triple when I was the Bachelor. I don't think we've ever had that in a single clip. Thank you, great
it
one.
was
Thank you.
like a full feast just in what seems to be one sentence. Oh, I loved that. I've been on break. I haven't heard this Dark One talk for a few weeks. It's really wonderful to be back.
Yeah.
I love getting a When I Was the Bachelor so hot off the presses.
Yeah.
By the way, I noticed DLP did one in the Bachelor finale. He did it when I was the Bachelor.
Yes, he did. You're right.
He doesn't do that
too.
often.
But he is bringing up an interesting point here that when you're part of this franchise, you come out of it. And if you think you've been wronged or at least gotten second place, what he was talking about was he was in this position twice, was on Andy Dorfman's season 10. Of course, he got defeated by Josh Murray that season. And then when he was on Caitlin Bristow's season 11 season, he crashed in episode 4, went on to have sex with Caitlin Bristow before the fantasy suites. And then in the end was beaten by Sean Booth, AKA the other guy. No, sorry. He was the other guy. Nick Viall was the other guy to Sean Booth. Sean Booth would not say his name. But he finished in second place twice, back-to-back seasons. Mm-hmm. So he understands this idea that if you are in that position and you have love level forward and the lead says, you're out of here. Sorry about that. You have, at least in the perception of the show, the narrative of the document, you have been heartbroken, and therefore you are a victim. And therefore, as he said, you think Bachelor Nation will have your back. And I think that's right. I think it does get you a lot of favor, especially if it's like kind of a brutal breakup. You know, we've seen some really terrible ones in the history of the show. Baylock High, I always think about on Becca Kufrin's season.
Especially when there's no benevolent execution and there's two players going to the final rose ceremony. That doesn't always happen. I love this discussion of the victimization because it's like, yeah, Latia is saying, hey, you told me you'd stop the show for me. You know it's me. Da, da, da. It's like, oh, well, they're gamers.
Exactly.
They're saying all that stuff. He didn't stop the show. He didn't Claire Crawley.
And there are these kind of like, there are, you know, I was going to say unwritten rules, but we have written these rules in a book called How to Win the Bachelor. Prior to our book, they were unwritten. But one of them is if you're a lead, you can't really tell multiple players that you love them or give them the idea that they are going to win if they're not going to. And obviously plenty of players have done this, especially in the modern era. I think since Ben Higgins, really, I believe producers have tried to get leads to love level 4 multiple players in each season. And that's okay. That's like an okay play to make. Charity did it. It was fine. Gary Turner did it. It was fine.
They didn't villainize it in the after the final rose.
Exactly.
Like, look, Charity did it. She's a beloved child.
But what you can't do is like a bunch of future casting with these players. You can't give them the idea that they are the winner. You can say you love them, and that can be true. I did fall in love with multiple people. That's the process. You can't give someone the idea that they're going to win if they're not. And I think that was kind of one of Grant's fatal flaws here.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah. Come on now.
I finally watched the finale. Come on now. I was like, Clues, do you think this is boring? I loved it.
Latia's play wasn't like she was off the charts. I saw a really funny TikTok. This woman was doing an impersonation of Latia where somebody off camera is like, listen, this isn't about you, it's about me. Or I forget how he phrased it, but they repeat Grant's line. And then this woman does kind of a Latia face, then puts on a cowboy hat and like a piece of straw in her mouth and goes, come on now. It's so funny. I don't know where it is.
So
if
good.
You can find it, enjoy it.
I mean, she did do amazing face play. I like her, that breakup I was enthralled. I was like, no wonder this episode did so well in the ratings. Like, it's a strong victimization edit for Latia.
I know, and but to what end? It's
so strong that I think I still think she could be the Bachelorette if they came back.
Yeah.
I mean, Susie says she's still like in the conversations. Victoria Fuller doesn't necessarily mean you're out if time has passed.
I think a lot about a certain group of people recently.
Squirrels? No.
These people are members of Bachelor Nation. They are fans of the show Bachelor.
Okay.
Who do not know that there is no Bachelorette. I don't know what percentage of the fandom that is.
I think it's
but
like 80%.
I bet it's big.
I think it's like 80.
Yeah. If you're not following like trade news, you know, like the entertainment industry and all that, if you're not seeing these deadline articles that there's no Bachelorette this season, you're just sitting around being like, wait a minute, why didn't they announce Bachelorette at the end after the final rose?
Yeah.
Who's the Bachelorette? You're still waiting for that announcement to be made, and it ain't ever going to come. I can't imagine what it's like to be in that position, obviously, because we know there is no Bachelorette.
Yeah. What is it like to just live blissfully being like, oh yeah, Latia will be the next Bachelorette? I mean, I think they're almost counting on that because they're not outright canceling it. I bet a lot of people won't even notice it's been gone a year if it comes back. Yeah. I bet that's like 60%.
I don't know about that. Not noticing. I don't know about that. Because there's so many people out there who have like weekly watch parties and stuff.
Yeah, but it's like you organize it when you see the poster. You know, you DM that to your friends and you're like, okay, who's watching with me?
I think there are flurries of group texts going around right now that's like, hey, did they announce the Bachelorette yet? Who's the Bachelorette? Why is there no announcement? I think that's happening right now. in Bachelor
I
Nation.
just think a lot of people, there's so much going on. There's a bombardment of news and media. And
There's
just
other news?
think there's so many people who don't.
There's other stuff going on that's not Bachelorette. I don't know. What are you
I
talking
don't know
about?
what you're.
All right, let's move on here.
Father texted our group thread this morning.
That shit was hilarious.
The fart of the deal.
Dad's got jokes. All right,
That's copywritten as the title of his book.
let's move on now to our third clip. This also comes to us from those beautiful Viall files. In this clip, Nick talks about Latia's final choices and maybe what he would have done differently. Let's take a listen. If you want to hear this clip from the great one talking about Latia and how he might have played things differently, as well as all the rest of the clips in this episode, as well as all the digging deepers we ever did do, as well as all the PaceCase blabbas, all the Clues Corners, access to our Discord, our live shows, ad-free episodes. Did I get it all?
I was gonna say ad-free episodes.
Early access to things like Game of Rosé. We are going to have, I think, another batch of that coming out. It's sold out currently, but I believe we'll have another batch coming out around Paradise sometime.
A summer
so you'll
rosé.
get early access to that as well. If you want all that stuff, just go to patreon.com/Game of Roses. Join us in the bottom of the pit.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us. And then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast.